Hey everyone, this is Amit Bandari of TalkCondo.com, and today we're at the incredibly impressive presentation center for essentially the South VMC, but especially for the Grand Festival. And we're interviewing Rachel Galway, who is the sales manager for Cornerstone Marketing. Rachel, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming here today.
Awesome. So Rachel, we were here not too long ago. It seems like a while, but it wasn't too long ago, interviewing for the lead up for Festival Tower. There's been obviously some big things that have gone on with Festival Tower. What can you tell us? What's the update?
Well, definitely last fall, it was a crazy time when you were here. We were getting ready to launch the phase one, 1,300 units. And we are very happy to say that it was announced as the best-selling project in all of Canada for 2020.
During a pandemic?
During a pandemic, yes.
And I think some of the stuff that we're going to go through today, it kind of, like for me, it makes sense as to why it was one of the best-selling, if not the best-selling projects of 2020, or perhaps even ever. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to talk about the VMC. We spoke about the VMC quite a lot.
Yes.
Over the last few years, I think. But I think it's a very, very important story to re-emphasize, retell again and again and again, because it's so incredible. So what can you tell us about the VMC? What is the VMC? And
Absolutely. You know what? It's a story we've been talking about for a few years, but it's a story that I personally never get sick of telling because every year there's something new. I think it really kicked off in 2017 when we had that Line 1 extension, because then Vaughan became, you know, the first time in 30 years that the Line 1 subway had actually been extended. So it went from just being able to go to Downsview Station to now you could seamlessly connect to what will become the new downtown Vaughan. But in the last 3 years, we have seen not just a lot of new residential development, but you're seeing a lot of infrastructure that's coming to support. And that's the power of a transit connection, that with that subway line, you now are seeing a lot more job opportunities, a lot more lifestyle amenities, and then of course, a lot more condos coming.
yeah, absolutely. When we talk about investments to investors, we often talk about catalysts. And with the subway, anytime there's any sort of high-speed transit line, entrance, exit, new subway stop, it's a big deal, right? It's a massive catalyst for change. Just like you've said, it brings about even more change. But the other big change here is what the VMC is, right? So in a nutshell, it's the creation of a whole new downtown. But what I wanted to focus on was the South VMC. But before we focus on the South VMC, I wanted to talk about the partnership, because it's a massive deal. And for those that don't know about this partnership, I think I'm going to leave you to it, because it's a massive deal.
Yes, the who behind a development is just as much important as the what. And the who behind the development of the South Vaughan Metropolitan Centre, you really couldn't ask for two better names in real estate development, and that is Menkes and Quadreal.
Absolutely.
So Menkes is one of Canada's largest private-owned developers. They have been developing exclusively in the Greater Toronto area. I mean, this is their home for nearly 70 years. And through those 70 years, they have been very impactful in developing Yonge and Sheppard to what it is today. You look at downtown waterfront, Harbour Plaza, Sugar Wharf, two other best-selling projects in Canada as well, 2013 and 2018, which we were so happy to be part of as well. And now they're taking that same concept to the downtown Vaughan, but on a much bigger scale, because with Quadreal, we've never had a context model quite this big before. With their partner Quadreal, who is one of the biggest real estate asset firms in the country, the value of the assets they manage, it's nearly $30 billion. So we're talking about a lot of money behind that. And let's face it, to build a whole new downtown and the infrastructure that supports it, you need experience and you need the resources. So you have two names you can definitely trust.
The other thing is Menkes, you named some pretty big developments there. This isn't one community that they're building. I mean, this is at a massive scale. But Sugar Wharf, Menkes, they're building a brand new community. It's like a village within a city they're almost building. Retail, public space, residential, everything. This is obviously, again, it's a much, much bigger space, much bigger deal. I wanted to talk about the South VMC in terms of it being a mixed-use community now, because it's such a multifaceted community. It's a city within a city. And it's truly like a live, work, play kind of environment where you can do everything. We've seen the videos, we've seen the renderings. Tell us about what that means.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. The term mixed-use community, master plan community, it's a term that we use a lot in the pre-con field. I've definitely been guilty of using it a lot myself, but it isn't until you're part of a project like Grand Festival and what we'll be selling here for the next decade that you really understand what a true master plan community is. This context model represents nearly 160 acres.
Yep.
And because Menkes and Quadreal are the type of developers that they are, they're able to contribute to the office and commercial sector,
Yes.
as well as the retail sector, because it's not a new downtown unless you have employment and you have retail services. So there'll be about 400,000 square feet of retail shopping, and Menkes will play a very active role in that, because really at the centerpiece of Festival and Grand Festival Towers, there'll be an outdoor retail promenade, so very
Amazing.
European feel.
Yeah.
So Menkes, we know they only lease to AAA tenants. These are recognized retail brands, and that'll be kind of the centerpiece that the whole community can enjoy. But what I think is very unique, and this is something that we touched on a bit last year, but we're very excited to go into more detail with Grand Festival, and that is the outdoor spacing. I think last year we talked about 45 acres of active outdoor spaces, but it was still a little bit early for us to go into the details of what do these outdoor spaces include. Anybody can go to a downtown core and really enjoy shopping, cafes, but you don't necessarily have the proximity to these green spaces. You
Right.
have to go into your car, go to High Park,
Yep.
take transit to Trinity Bellwoods. What's beautiful about this 160 acres is that every single element is incorporating multi-use paths. There's 17 kilometers of hiking trails, biking trails, walking paths, rubberized running trails, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And the culture hub. So this is an outdoor space that's dedicated to farmers markets on the weekend, where they'll be cultivating cheese vendors, fruit and vegetable vendors. Think about if you have a young family. That's a great way to spend the weekend, right?
Absolutely.
And then on the southwest quadrant, they will have a man-made lake, which will have a band shell overlooking the water. So there'll be live music for the community to enjoy.
So this is all incredible stuff, in my opinion. Like, if you're looking at it from an end-use perspective, it checks so many boxes. In your opinion, from an investment standpoint, why does all this matter?
Well, that's very important too, because whenever we build a project, whether it's a single point tower or part of a master plan community, you always want to make sure that there is an investment value there.
Yeah.
And there's really a great value to buying in the early stages of a master plan community.
Absolutely.
We've already seen the success of the phase one. Coming up with this new phase, you don't have to feel like, well, I'm buying in late. No, you are actually buying in the first major tower, which is actually going to be the signature towers of downtown Vaughan. And you have the confidence that every year for the next 10 years, we'll be selling a new condominium project or townhome project from this very space. So that is guaranteed value appreciation. And the value and the trust of the developer, I think that's where it comes in handy here, because everybody can promise a dream, but very few people have the capacity to make that dream a reality. And with Menkes and Quadreal really acting as the driving forces to this dream, buyers can have the confidence of saying, look at Harbor Plaza, look at Sugar Wharf,
Absolutely.
look at all the developments at Yonge and Shepherd. This will be that concept, but on such a bigger scale. So you really have confidence that you are buying in the very early stages of what will become a new downtown. Very few places around the world you have that opportunity.
Well, I was going to say, because I wrote quite a little thing on, quite a big thing on social media, and it's like you're building a mini Dubai almost in Vaughan, right? Because it's a city, you're building a city within a city, and all the things that go part and parcel with city building is also happening as well. And it's incredibly rare to see, because what we've seen up until now, well, I'd say in the last 20 years or so, you're seeing pre-existing cities being built upon or expanded. You're not seeing new cities being built from scratch. And that's insane. Like, in my mind, it's mind-blowing to me that what's being built here in terms of its potential.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned it exactly. It's more density and more infrastructure to an existing city.
Yeah.
But the real beauty of, I think, the South Vaughan Metropolitan Center is that there's a reason we call it a comprehensive urban community.
Right.
Because every element, from the retail sector, the office sector, the 45 acres of outdoor space, the mixed housing, it's not just high density condos. Menkes is developing a lot of townhome varieties as well. So we have product for every family composition. It's so thoughtfully designed.
Yeah.
In a way that you really wouldn't be able to find anywhere else. Definitely not in Ontario, but very few places around the world. And you're getting to buy into the very beginning stages.
And that's key, right? From an investment standpoint, there's so much. I mean, look, just looking at this context model, I know you can't see it fully, but we're at the very beginning stages of this, which is incredible. And what I wanted to do also is put some context in terms of the scale of this development. We pointed to Regent Park last year, which was roughly 69 acres. This is more than double, which is highly impressive.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing is I want to emphasize again is the partnership. You cannot have a better partnership to build something like this.
I think that, putting into context is very interesting because it's hard to imagine something that's never really been done to this scale.
That's true.
You mentioned Regent Park. I know Sugar Wharf, which is a huge village within a city, which was a term you used earlier, which is great. And that was 11.5 acres. Yeah. So nearly 160 acres, it truly is a new city.
Yep.
And to create that type of vision, the quality of the builder is so important. And I think that not just having a strong residential builder, but two names in real estate who are so actively involved in the office sector. Menkes has built some of the most prominent office towers near Yonge and Sheppard, as well as downtown Toronto, including the Waterfront Innovation Center.
It shows the pedigree, right, in terms of not just being able to build residential towers. It's truly mixed, this skill set.
Yeah, someone who can really do it all, and to do it to the scale that Menkes can do it.
Absolutely. It's so exciting. I wanted to now finally talk about Grand Festival, which is really why we're here.
Yes.
The next tower, the next stunning new tower to be, this will be the home for it. Let's talk about it. What can you tell us about that?
Yes. So last year we came to market with two towers, the Signature and the Landmark Tower, about 1,300 units. We are coming to market again with two more towers, 1,200 units, so huge volume and scale of opportunity here. And there's a reason we call them the Grand Towers, and that's because last year we touched very vaguely on the amenity program. We gave people some little tastes and pieces here, but the amenities were still being fine-tuned, and that's because Menkes really wanted to make sure that the amenities were designed for the evolving way people living in urban cities live, work, and play. And with 70,000 square feet of indoor and outdoor amenities, they actually sit primarily underneath the new Grand Towers.
Right.
So we are able to go into a lot more detail onto what the amenity offering is, which doesn't just include things like, comprehensive children's playrooms. It includes artist rooms, soundproof music rehearsal rooms, things for every type of hobby and interest and age demographic, but also the outdoor space, because we have found in the last year, people need their outdoor space, but functional outdoor space. Right. So that's why a lot of great outdoor lounge areas, even an outdoor movie theater area, where people can safely and at distance if they need to be, enjoy those types of activities. So they're not just stuck inside all the time, but if you are somebody working from home, maybe doing some homeschooling, you have a lot of great places and options to go outside and enjoy the fresh air while staying active.
Amazing. What can you tell us about heights, suite mix, that kind of thing?
Very important. So heights are looking at approximately 50 and 60 stories. So these are high density towers. Suite mix, one great thing about Menkes and Quadreal is that we took a lot of the things that people loved last time, making sure we're still giving you that, but also seeing what are some of the changes in buyer behavior are to really understand how we can further improve the suite mix for the evolving needs of the people who might be living or renting there. We are definitely going to incorporate some beautiful 2-bedrooms. We know that people love their 2-bedrooms, especially ones that are really functional and efficient sizes. A lot of great diversity in the 1-bedroom plus den category, because we know 1-bedroom plus dens with 1 bath and 2 bath, they're great sort of fluidity of product because they have that extra functionality. And then of course you have a lot of variety in the smaller 1-bedrooms. So you'll have anything from small 1-bedrooms, variety of 1+ dens, and then those beautiful corner 2-bedrooms as well.
Incredible. So I'm going to sort of wrap this all up, hopefully. We talked about VMC as a whole, brand new downtown. We talked about South VMC, the incredible partnership. I think it's probably one of the best partnerships that you can possibly have to build a city, or city within a city, a mixed-use community between Menkes and Quadreal. Then we spoke about the development itself, 50, 60-story towers, amazing amenity spaces. Was there anything that we missed?
You know what, we could probably talk about Grand Festival and South VMC and the builders behind it endlessly, because there's just so much to talk about. I think the most important thing is that if someone is interested in buying, to really stay actively engaged with an insider broker, a valued broker partner like yourself.
I was just going to say.
What's the next step?
Yeah.
It is so important to pick a realtor that is working closely with the developer to make sure that you have all the firsthand information. We are looking at launching early April, so things are happening very quickly. So this isn't something you want to be passive about. You want to make sure you're engaged with your agent, getting the updates, and moving quickly.
Awesome. Rachel, thank you so much.
No, thank you.